What's going on, everyone? Gilman with Wellthy Stocks back with our daily Apple update video where we take a look at how Apple stock traded today, some key support and resistance levels that we are looking at moving into the future, and based on that, what we think Apple stock could do. So real quick, if you enjoy videos like this, don't forget to hit that like button down below, subscribe to my channel if you are new, and comment down below what your thoughts on Apple are, and we can chat down there. Let me hit record. We will get right into it. So small green day for Apple. Nothing too crazy going on today. Relatively still a down day. It was more of the move at the beginning of the day. So we're up about 85 cents, which is 0.63%. We're down a little bit in the after hours. The real story in the after hours, though, is Google and Amazon. Google is up more than $100, right? Crossed the 2,000 mark, which is really exciting. And if you guys have seen Amazon's chart, it looks absolutely insane. We're talking, when I was looking at it, 1 minute it was up like 30, 40, $50. Another moment it was down 70, then 0, then down 30. It was such a swing back and forth that it was really fun to see. Now let's take a look at some news for Apple. Getting back to Apple, so we got some kind of updates on the Apple Hyundai electric car rumors, where an analyst corroborated reports that Apple or Hyundai are working together on an electric car. They talk about kind of the platform it's going to be used. We're talking about a range of 310 miles on a full charge. Fast charging, which is I think key for electric cars in the future, right? We don't want to wait like hours for the car to charge for us to be able to drive again. 18 minutes for 80% sounds pretty good. If you guys watched my solo video, right, there was a stat on their website that said something like, most people only go X amount of miles. That's the reason for their solo car. And so if the battery can charge, a decent amount in a short amount of time, that should generally be enough for most people that aren't taking like road trips everywhere they go. So, this is great. Last month, Hyundai did confirm that it was in talks in Apple, but then it took back its statement. As you guys know, with Apple, a lot of things are very secretive. We've gotten, so many rumors with iPhones and Macs, and we typically know things ahead of time, but Apple doesn't confirm it until they, want to confirm it, right? Until until the date that they have kind of set. So, the only thing, the only thing with Hyundai though is they're worried whether they can, really pull this off, because they don't produce cars for anyone other than themselves. We got Hyundai and Kia producing cars, so that's kind of the concern for them. But this analyst thinks that the car is going to hit the market 2025, so still a long ways away. By no means is this happening like tomorrow or even months from now, like we can say for the iPhone news. But it's still some news that came out, so I figured I'd share with you guys. As we could see, the stock was largely untouched by this news, right? So now let's get right into the stock analysis. Let me take away this indicator here for a second. So we have a closing here in the 133s, 134s, and we gapped up a little bit, right? We pushed up to the mid 135s. And then at the beginning of the day, right, the next level we were looking at was this 136.05 level. We tried to break above it, couldn't quite do it, right? You see right there in the pre-market, we were above it for a little bit. Here we couldn't really hold above it. We got 25 cents above it, but then came right back down. And then, came below VWAP and then tried to push up here again, hit that level perfectly. And then it didn't really play out. And so when we got rejected, I was watching for VWAP, and right when we didn't bounce off VWAP, right? Because that's the next thing. Look, if it gets rejected here, you could go into puts. Just not financial advice, just something that I personally look to do based on these levels. Could get into puts, but because the VWAP was not even 40 cents away, I waited for VWAP. Once it rejected VWAP, I got in puts, rode it here, tested it again, rejected, tested again, rejected, tested again, rejected. If in any of these cases it had broken the VWAP and started to go up again, probably would have exited my puts. And then on this way down somewhere, I got my 10% that I was looking for. It was an automatic order. I was away from my computer. And then it kept trading pretty much sideways, went down a little bit, came up, and then at the end of the day, pushed up towards VWAP, right? So relatively weak day for Apple. Again, I love Apple and I'm long Apple, always holding my shares, long-term bullish. And I use this intraday movement to play sometimes, call or put options. And so I got those puts today. Again, nothing super fancy about the way I played them, right? I've shared these levels with you guys as well, and these are the same levels that I look at on a daily basis. That combined with the VWAP, you know, you could throw like the 8 or 9 EMA on the 1 or 5 minute chart, see if it's above or below that, and kind of how the momentum looks. So a lot of those things, depending on what your trading style is, right, you could make money doing that. Now, would recommend that if you haven't done that before, that you paper trade a little bit and kind of get comfortable around what strategy works for you, right? So there's different ways you could do it. I know a lot of people that use the 8 or the 9 EMA, even the 15 EMA on the 5 minute chart, right? Or on the hourly chart or on the 15-minute chart. So feel free to, you know, play around with those. Or, you know, people use VWAP, right? So sometimes I'll literally just use my levels and VWAP. So if we bounce off of a level and we're going up towards VWAP, play from that level to VWAP if the space is there. Again, no guarantees that that's going to work, right? That's why I'm saying paper trade, always kind of write it down, right? For the next week or so, 2 weeks, write down your entries, write down your exits, write down what you would have lost. If you're coming out ahead on a lot of the strategies, meaning you can do, you know, 10, 15, 20% on your wins, and on your losses, right? If it's not going, you don't let it go to like 50%, you can cut those losses. And overall, you can net something, you know, it might be worth something that you try putting on, right? So now, getting right back to the video, let's take a look at, you know, future levels of support and resistance. So as we saw today, this 136.05 level acted as a little bit of a resistance for us, meaning we could not get above it and stay above it. We got above it very briefly at the beginning of the day, like I shared, similar to 2 days ago, how we could not really stay above that level. So that's the first level of resistance that I think we have, the 136.05s, and then we've got the 138.43, and then we've got the 140. So that's the 3 levels that I'm looking at on the upside. On the downside, 133.45 is the first level that we didn't visit today, but we have visited before, and that's one level of support. Then we've got the 132.52, and then we've got the 131.45. If you guys remember from the chart yesterday, those levels held up really nicely, right? This is yesterday's chart, this 133.45 held up as a good resistance and then a little bit of a support. This 132 acted as good support, and this 131.45 also acted as really good support. So going back to, you know, our chart here, those are exactly the 3 levels that we have, right? If we start to go down again, those are the 3 levels that I'm watching. Again, it doesn't have to bounce at the first, doesn't even have to bounce at the second, but I'm saying if it just runs through, what are you looking at next? Rather than being lost on when it can stop, we have at least an indication of where it could go. So that's the pure purpose of that. And then let me put on my EMAs. I don't know why it went away. So as you can see here, we're getting rejected by the AEMA, right? Similar to this level. So I want to see us capture that AEMA 135.80 and then start to push up. And then we've got the 21 EMA as good support. So right now I'm a little bit conflicted because there's 2 things happening, right? We've got Google that's just running up 5% after hours, depending on if that can sustain. And we've got Amazon, which is pretty flat. And if you take a look at how much it ran from like 3200s to, you know, high 3300s. So do we see a similar sell the news? And my only worry is, you know, depending on which has the greater pull can really determine where kind of the market goes tomorrow, because they're both such huge companies that other names like Apple might kind of follow in that energy, if you will. So depending on that, if we start to go down, right, I'm looking for a bounce either off the 21 EMA 133.91 or this 133.40s level. And if we start to go up, I think the key level here is the 135.80s. If we can capture that, if we could get above it, heck, if we can get above this 136 level, we're above the AEMA, we're above that level. Hopefully from that point on, we can start to establish a little bit of a base and start to push up. The good thing about today, you guys, is that we did make a higher high than yesterday and a higher low than yesterday. The trading range was a lot smaller. So again, still hoping that, you know, the the sell-off from the post earnings is starting to be over. Hopefully we push up. My goal, if we can knock this out tomorrow, make a push towards 138, and the rest of the week make a push towards 140. That would kind of be my hope. But again, that means, you know, we don't see a lot of sell the news happening. We did have 1.5% days on the SPY, 2 nice green candles after these 2 nasty red candles. So, you know, watching to see how SPY is as well before kind of going all in. So again, if we can clear the AEMA, clear 136s, make a push towards 138 tomorrow, that'd be amazing. So we can maybe make a run towards 140. But if we see some weakness tomorrow, then again, watching for that bounce off the 21 EMA and the 133s. And yeah, that would kind of be my goal. But we could, you know, again, go all the way down to the 34 EMA, which is in the 131s like we did, you know, twice not this week, right? Friday and today. So that's all I have for you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to drop a like on the video and subscribe to my channel if you are new. Comment down below what your thoughts on Apple are, and I'd love to chat with you guys down there. I cover Apple on a daily basis, so you don't want to miss them. But yeah, that's all I had for you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let's remember to be a bit better every single day, and until next time.